This is She Fascinates Me, a podcast about women who are living with intention, curiosity, and heart. I'm Julie Silber, and in each episode, I'm bringing you conversations with women who inspire fascination in all its forms. On this episode of She Fascinates Me, I am joined by my friend Dinah Wulf. Dinah was part of the early influencer frontier, beginning as a blogger back in 2011, and today she's built an incredible platform of more than 42,000 followers through her account, DIY Inspired. Check her out on Instagram. I'm always fascinated by people who find a way to keep creating, not as an escape from life, but as a way of moving through it. And this conversation is all about that. Hello and welcome to She Fascinates Me. I'm your host, Julie Silber, and today I'm with an OG influencer. So hello, Dinah. This is Dinah Wulf. She's my friend with DIY Inspired. She got her start as an influencer as we know them today, back in 2011 as a blogger. So today on the show, I just wanted to dig into a conversation with her so that y'all can understand what the progression has been and how she made it to where she is today, 15 years into your business, with I think over 40,000 followers on your Instagram. Everyone, this is Dinah Wulf. Hello, honey.
Hi, thanks Julie for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm happy you're here and happy holidays. We're in your awesome living room space here with your Christmas tree and your English phone booth, and I love these chairs. They're just fantastic. You are such a special friend of mine, and you're so incredibly creative. We have that in common. We both love vintage. We're both very creative people. But what fascinates me so much about you is that you can take the creative vision and actually make it happen, whereas I've always had to just delegate that. So we're going to explore your craft room while we're here, and you're going to show me some of your tools, like your power tools that you use. You really get into the nitty-gritty and you work so hard, and I just want everyone to learn what goes into creating what you put out there for all of us to enjoy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the business has definitely evolved over the last 15 years with the changes in social media and everything.
So you started as a blogger in 2011.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I started, it was a decision my husband and I made when I became pregnant with our first daughter. I was used to the corporate world with suits and heels every day, and decided to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And because I was so used to the hustle and bustle of working in the corporate world, I got bored very quickly. And by the time Mia was 6 months old, I was on these blogs, and I had maxed out my dollars on Farmville. I don't know if you remember that game.
Do you remember? I never played it, but you were actually spending money on the game?
It was terrible. I think I got a gift card from a friend for Farmville money, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I at that point, I think that was my aha moment where I was like, I need to do something. And honestly, that's how DIY Inspired started.
All right. Well, thank you, Farmville.
Yeah, right?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started blogging, and at that time, you mentioned that you had been enjoying other blogs.
Yes.
Were they in the creative space that you're in?
Yes, they were specifically in the theme party niche, because I loved to throw. I would make, different theme parties for the girls, like first, second, third birthdays, and they were very elaborate decorations and things like that. And I followed a few blogs, and I'm like, you know what, I think I could do this and turn it into something. And Mike, who is in the web space, was like, okay, I can help you start your website.
Okay.
Let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because he told me one time, he's like, I think this is going to last like 3 months. And then here I am 15 years later.
Proved him wrong.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. So tell me about your first blog post. What did you post about?
Oh my gosh. My first blog post, I think I took them down. They were terrible, to be honest with you. But I did write 20 articles before I even published, so that I would have 5 articles 5 days a week for 4 weeks. So I was prepared in case I needed to think of something quickly.
Right.
But I started with what I call junk drawer crafts.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that time, I wasn't making any money and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this blog that nobody was reading.
Right.
And so I just needed to get the content out there. So I would literally search in my junk drawers and I would make like kids crafts out of bottle caps or toilet paper rolls or whatever that I could find that was free in the house. And I would turn those into kids craft tutorials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cute. And so the girls were pretty young at this point.
Mia
They're
was
not really getting
a
involved
baby.
quite yet. Okay.
Yeah. Mia was still a baby.
Yeah. And so this was before you even had Nala.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So, and then now I know that fast forward to today, it's fun to see how they get involved in your world.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then you're working at the blogging, and how long does it take for that to kind of build momentum?
Oh my gosh. I wrote an article every day, 5 days a week for, the first 5 years consistently. I didn't start making money until about a year and a half, and that's actually a very interesting story.
Okay, tell us about it.
I was plugging along, publishing these articles on my blog, and I get an email from this woman, and she's like, "We love your work. We would love to pay you to write some articles for us." And I immediately ran up to Mike. I'm like, "You'll never believe this. This woman wants to hire me." And he said his first question was, "How much is she paying you?"
Okay.
And I said, "She wants me to write 6 articles for $10 per article."
Oh,
and I was so excited.
But it was exciting because you had been noticed. You had caught someone's attention. They were praising you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, "Okay, well, go ahead and do it." And so I did. And so for 6 months, I wrote 1 article a month for $10 an article.
Okay.
And this woman, I will never forget her name. Her name was Sarah Bowers.
Okay.
And she, after my contract was done, I wrote the 6 articles. She emailed me on the side and she said, "Dinah, you were amazing to work with. We loved your articles." She's like, "Off the record," now it's on the record, but off the record, I want you to know that we would have paid you $150 an article, but you never asked.
Okay.
And that was a huge lesson for me. And first of all, I just appreciate Sarah so much because she did not have to tell me that.
That was a gift.
Yes. Yeah. And so moving forward, I was very scared. But the next time someone approached me, I'm like, I charge $150 an article. And they were always like, "Okay."
Yeah. So like that moment that you knew you had to look someone in the eye or type an email confidently stating, "I charge $150 an hour." Were there some nerves involved in doing that?
Absolutely.
Were you scared of rejection? Yeah.
Yes, and it continued over the years. And that's one of the amazing things about blogging is I met several other inspirational people that were in my space and we were able to help one another. For example, there was another blogger who I met at a conference, and she's like, "Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What are you charging per article?" And I was so excited because I thought she was going to be like floored that I said, "I'm charging $350 per article now." And she's like, "Girl, really?" And I was like, "Yes, I can you believe it?" And she's like, "No, Dinah," she's like, "you should not be charging $350 an article. You should be charging $700 per article." And I'm like, "What?
Okay.
Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "No, next time ask for $700." And I'm like, I was so scared to ask for $700 per article. And the next brand that approached me, I said, "Here's my fee." And they were like, "Okay." And every time I was like, "Darn it, I should have asked for more."
Yes.
Because they just said yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's, certainly there are no rules, there's no manual for this, and there's some crowdsourcing going on, at the conference. And I think that happens a lot in a creative space, right? Where you're not in a corporate situation with HR and, salary ranges per position. It's a new frontier.
Yeah.
Especially back then.
Yeah. Back then, we were seriously the pioneers of blogging. I've worked with so many brands, and at that time, up until maybe 8 years ago, brands would come to me and ask me, how do we work with influencers?
Okay.
And so I would have to coach big brands on how to work with us. It was a very interesting time.
Yeah, and what a huge role reversal from your $60 contract for your 6 articles. Yeah, that's so cute. I love the story.
Yeah.
I love the story. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so from there, then you're getting the attention of some brands. I'd love to know more about, how the stair-step process works from going from the beginnings of blogging to today, where you've got Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube channel, television experience, big magazines like Women's Day and Real Simple, etc. Good Day LA. So at the time you were living in Orange County, California? Yeah.
I lived in Orange County, close to LA, which was great. I was invited to I worked with Disney and Bounty. I was a brand ambassador for Bounty, and I don't know if you remember this, but Bounty used to, every time there was a new release of a Pixar movie or a Disney movie, they would make prints on their paper towels.
Yeah, and I would usually avoid those because I'm a white paper towel girl, and I never wanted the ones with the prints. Does that make me a bad mom that I never bought those for Arden?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know. And so they would invite me to the world premieres of the movies. So yeah, and I would always bring Mia as my date, and it was great because it was big, sometimes on Sunset Boulevard, somewhere in Hollywood. They would close off the streets. All the actors were there, the big actors. And it's funny because we were at a Toy Story world premiere, and Keanu Reeves was standing right next to me, and I'm like, Mia, that's Keanu Reeves. And she's like, who's that? And I'm like, you don't know who Keanu Reeves is? She's like, no, but I do know who that is. And they are on YouTube, and they're a big influencer on YouTube. And I'm like, such a different time. She's like, I have no idea who Keanu Reeves is, but I know who that little girl is that has an awesome YouTube channel.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I wonder who that was.
I started working with more and more brands, and they would contact me. I had been in a few magazines, articles over the years. And as I got more and more exposure, bigger and bigger brands would start reaching out, and the campaigns were so exciting because it was a time where, again, they didn't really know how to work with us. So I could essentially almost create my own contract or offer suggestions, and they'd be like, okay. And so GMC, the car company, contacted me. I ended up working them for years, and that's when I started doing TV segments with Good Day LA and KTLA Morning News, where it started off as trunk or treat segments. So they would bring their cars in. Well, they'd bring 3 of their new cars, and then I would decorate each of their trunks in Halloween themes. And then I would do a segment on the news, and then briefly talk about the cars, and then decorate the trunks and, safety on Halloween and trunk or treat and things like that.
Sure.
It was great. One time I met Ja Rule and his wife. You know Ja Rule, the rapper?
Wow. I mean, I know the name, and you'd have to sing a little of it for me, which I'm not going to make you do.
Well, please don't.
I remember the name. Did Ja Rule do anything with J-Lo?
I think so.
Okay, so you met Ja Rule. Did he go trunk or treating?
He did not, but him and his wife were promoting their reality show on the same morning show, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
fun celebrity moment. Yeah.
So, like, for example, when the Good Day LA people ask you to come in to do the segment with the trunk or treat, you've got total creative license to do that. It's not like you have a director saying, okay, we want you to style these cars to look like this or that. You get to go to them and say, here's what we're doing.
Here's what we're doing. Yes. And they gave me a couple, different rules to follow, but I would have to pack up my car, bring everything, set it up really quickly, do the segment in, a few minutes, take it all down. It was quite the production, but yes, I had creative freedom to do whatever I wanted.
That's fun. And so it feels like as you're getting into it and you're progressing, the confidence building piece is pretty exponential, I think, right? Because you're going from $10 an article to, wow, someone's telling you can ask $700 an article, to being sought out by brands and going to movie premieres and then being asked by an even larger brand presence. I mean, paper towels were cool, but car company, that's a big deal. So and then you're having some experience on television.
Yes.
You've already been in some magazines.
Already in magazines.
All happening all at once.
Yeah.
Right?
GMC filmed this awesome, another thing I did with them with Habitat for Humanity and GMC, where we filmed this DIY challenge show, which was great. And then from then, my family, you can actually watch us today on Disney Plus.
Okay.
We are on a show called Disney Family Sundays.
Okay.
We filmed it, which is another funny story. We filmed it when Nala was probably 3 or 4, but they still show the episodes today.
Yeah, that's fun. So there were multiple episodes that your family was on. It was like a little series.
Yes.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes moment, we were contracted to film 4 episodes. We get there to film the first episode with Nala, Mia, Mike, and I. Nala was 3. We filmed at a Disney studio that was, believe it or not, was not used to working with kids because it was an animation studio.
I see.
We were using their space. And, you film for all day for, 15 minutes, a segment, And she was just, Nala, the 3-year-old, was just out of control, doing all the things that she wasn't supposed to, and talking over the host and painting on herself. It's a craft show. And the next time we showed up to film episode number 2, the producer's like, so we were thinking that maybe Nala goes to school today and just you, Mia, and Mike film episode 2. So Nala was essentially fired.
That's so funny.
From her episodes. And then after that, they're like, we only need 2 episodes, but we'll pay you for 4.
Oh, that's so cute.
It was hilarious. So the girls had their first paychecks from Disney, and they got paid for 4 episodes.
That's really cute.
Nala got fired.
For 2.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah.
So everything's happening all at once. It's super exhilarating, I'm sure. Does it ever feel exhausting? Like, oh my gosh, I can't do all this myself? Or bring it and I can handle as much as you give me? Where do you stand in that moment?
My personality, I mean, to this day, I feel like I do the work of 10 people. I'm never exhausted. I can fuel myself on 4 hours of sleep. I'm just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
I've always been that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you rest though sometimes? Or is it really hard for you to do that?
It's really hard.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, and I know it's not a waste of time. I know it's probably very beneficial and healthy for me, but like I don't take naps.
Okay.
Even if I'm tired, like I always feel like I'm missing out on something, or I need to be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have friends like that. So yeah, you're a different species.
Yeah.
I definitely crave my alone time and my quiet time.
Yeah. And now that you mention it, I do believe that the success of DIY Inspired is because, like you mentioned earlier, is I can execute. I'm not the most creative person. There are so many more people that are more creative than I am. But what I do have is what's the right word? I'm not thinking of it right now, but I just have the drive to do all the back end and to work. And there's so many people that come to me, and I love it because they're like, well, how do you do this? I want to do it too. And I'm like, great. I will tell you exactly how to do it. And I will sit down with people, many people over the years, tell them what to do. And not one person has like executed. So I think maybe what separates me from other creatives that, want to start but aren't able to, is that I just go. I do it, and I'm not afraid to fail.
Sure. Yeah. There's some risk involved. I'm proof of that right now, and you were also instrumental in helping me, because at 52 years old, here I am starting a podcast, needing to learn how to use Instagram, and you were so giving of your time to show me the ropes, which I have not mastered. But
we're doing great.
I'm learning. And but there's certainly risk involved, and it goes to show you there are, you said so many people just didn't do anything with what you were showing them to do, and I think there's a lot of fear with people that holds them back.
Yeah. I remember
fear of the failure.
Yeah. One time, a brand, Burnzomatic, they are a torch company, like a fire torch company. They reached out to me and said, we want you to use our torches. Can you do some DIY projects with us? I'm like a blowtorch? Like, what are you talking about? I had to Google it. I had no idea. I'm like, welding? What is that? And so I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just ask for a bunch of money. And if they say yes, I'm going to figure it out. And if they say no, then no worries. I'm like, I don't even know how to do it anyway. Right? And so I'm like, here's my rates. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Now I have to figure out how to use a blowtorch. And so they sent me all these torches and all these tools. And I made some wood burning craft or whatever. Okay. And, 3 years later, I had done over 3 dozen torch products or torch tutorials for them. And it's just mind blowing because I had no idea how to use this torch. And here I am dozens of articles later, writing for this company. And now if you walk into Home Depot or Lowe's, you can purchase it's the Burnzomatic Firepoint Creator Tool. And my projects are on the side of the box. Okay. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, that for me is like a huge, testament to my persistence and okay with failing and you
didn't
here I am.
Even know what it was, and
I
now
have no
you're
idea.
Basically a spokesperson for the company, and you are part of their brand. Yeah, you're on the packaging. Yeah. So it's awesome.
It's crazy.
But you just dove in. And so, did you even like to play around with fire?
I loved it.
Okay.
So they saw that in
you.
Yeah.
Wait. But did you, before they even reached out to you, you were using fire in your craft? No. Right. So that's huge risk. You just dove in and you're like, okay, I'm going to start playing with fire.
Right.
Any snafus along the way?
Oh, totally.
Did you burn yourself or catch your hair
all
on fire?
The time. I didn't. I've caught my hair on fire, but that's a whole other story. But so many mistakes. I had to use a soldering iron at one point. It took me hours to figure out how to use it, but I figured it out and came up with a tutorial afterwards. But a lot of trial and error with that one.
Sure. And now we'll take a moment for the giving intermission. Don't fast forward. Your karma is watching. It only makes sense for Dinah's episode to shine a light on the Shepherd Center, an extraordinary Atlanta-based hospital internationally recognized for its life-changing work in spinal cord injury, brain injury, stroke, and neurological rehabilitation. Shepherd Center is more than a hospital. It is a place of hope, resilience, and reinvention. Every day, their team helps patients and families navigate some of life's most challenging moments with compassion, innovation, and world-class care. From intensive rehabilitation to long-term support, Shepherd empowers individuals to not just recover, but to reimagine what's possible. This spotlight feels especially meaningful in connection with Dinah's story, a reminder of the strength it takes to walk through hard seasons, the importance of community, and the impact of organizations like Shepherd that truly show up when it matters the most. To learn more, support their mission, or get involved, visit shepherd.org. That's SHEPHERD.org. So where does this creative gene come from? Is there someone in your family, or are you the first one?
My family is very creative, actually. Okay. My dad, a cardiologist by trade, I remember when I was little, he would work all these crazy hours, but then on the weekends or at night, he would build furniture in our garage.
Okay.
And he was always extremely creative. I, ask him to do X, Y, and Z, and he would just like make it out of paper or whatever. It was incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
And my brother is also creative. I tease, and this might be a reference to like how old I am, but I would say that he's like a combination of MacGyver and Martha Stewart, because he was so creative. When I was little, he would make my Halloween costumes, and they weren't, this was the time when it was like plastic with the mask, right?
Yeah.
A long time ago, early 80s.
70s and 80s.
Yeah, early 80s. But he would make, like the table with the head that was back in early 80s, like before the internet. So
yes,
it was like, I feel like he was like the originator of that costume. But yeah, my brother and my dad are extremely creative.
Okay.
Yeah.
So college for you were in California?
Yes.
What did you study?
I went to California State University, Fullerton, and I was a communications major. I specialized in interpersonal communications and persuasion, and I ended up going to grad school there as well, and I taught interpersonal communication and public speaking.
Okay, so perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect things to marry with your creativity. Yeah. To be able to have this success doing this.
I think so.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
But leaving your career that you had before in the suit and the heels that I cannot even imagine you in, because you're so
not
so cool
suit
the way
and
you
heels.
dress. No, I know, I love how you dress, and I can't even imagine that, Dinah. But so just being able to pursue a creative passion, and maybe you didn't even realize it was a passion because you were staying home with the kids and you were bored and you wanted to work, but it turned into this business that you're so good at. It's a complete 180, right?
Kind of. So another bit that a lot of people don't know about me is I have another company. It's Wolf Capital. It's a real estate investment company. I started because of my field in the past. I started investing in real estate when I was 26.
Okay.
And became a landlord at 28.
Amazing.
And so some of the projects on my blog are just little projects from rental properties and things like that. And so it wasn't an extreme pivot.
Okay.
But this has continued. I've invested in real estate for 25 years now. And then when I met Mike, he also was invested in real estate as well. He was a landlord, and we just kind of merged our superpowers together and continued with it. So a lot of some of the projects on my website are on our real estate properties. Yeah.
Right. And if you are a landlord, you want to maximize your income, your return on your properties. And so instead of hiring a handyman or a plumber or a carpenter, you can make more money if you just do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so I bet a big part of that ability to execute these huge projects that you do with DIY Inspired, and we need to talk about what you do to help Santa at the mall and the Easter Bunny and all these fabulous big projects that you handle by yourself.
Yeah.
And you are petite but strong.
Yeah.
And so that's got to come from you being able to handle the nuts and bolts part of the business with being a landlord, huh?
Well, it's funny because, all the tools and everything, they're not Mike's, they're mine.
That's so funny.
And so anything with the house, like I would fix it or whatever. I've changed our garbage disposal.
Ooh.
I know. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. My husband doesn't really have a honey-do list, so I don't like to give him one because he travels so much. I'm like, when you're home, I want you to be able to rest. So maybe I'll just call you when I need stuff done around the house. We can hang out. You can change light bulbs for me and fix the squeaky door. So in a minute, we're going to go over to your garage to check out your tools.
Okay.
And your craft room to see, all the materials that you work with to be able to create these projects and make all the magic happen for DIY Inspired. But before we get to that part, there is more to the actual material projects that you are creating. And what I love so much about DIY Inspired is that not only are people getting to admire what you do and be in awe of what you do and hopefully get some inspiration to do similar things or maybe micro versions of what you do themselves, because that's what you're putting out there, but everyone's getting to know you as a person. You've been through a lot. Like when we first met, you had a major jaw surgery. Talk about that for a minute.
Yes, I had severe TMJ, where the joints were had fused together and I could not open my mouth anymore. Yeah. So I had bilateral TMJ surgery, and they took parts of my abdomen and formed new joints on both of my jaws. So that I could open my mouth again. But the caveat is that my mouth was welded shut for 6-8 months.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat solid foods for almost a year.
Hence how we met, because we were neighbors and I heard about the surgery. We didn't really know each other at all. And I would bring you those smoothies because you
were
had
amazing.
to suck everything through a straw.
You were amazing.
No, but I mean, that's how we became friends.
Yeah, you would bring me a smoothie every day.
And nobody else would drink them in my house. And I finally found a victim who will enjoy my smoothies with me.
Oh, and they were delicious. Yeah.
No, but that was such a thing to go through. My gosh. And so you were sharing that journey with people through your social media, right?
Yes.
And so did you feel like that was kind of a beginning of, the shift now that we have? It just seems like everyone wants to know who the creator is of the content, right? They're as interested in the projects that you do as, who's this Dinah girl? We want to know more about her. Was it the jaw surgery moment, or were you already kind of doing some of that before?
I think it was the jaw surgery. Okay. Social media constantly shifts and changes. And in the beginning, I would just share my projects. That was it. But now people relate to the people that they're following, or they want to know more about them. And so I decided to share this personal journey because it was such a big part of my life. I was doing crafts with my mouth wired shut.
Yes.
And I had felt like I needed to explain it. And so, I think the people like, to know the person behind the business.
Yeah, it just makes you that much more relatable. And then, I guess like the whole reality TV thing that came way before, I think.
Yeah.
The Instagram world and TikTok and YouTube videos for the influencers, right? It was really reality TV that just made us feel like we had this parasocial relationship with people. We felt like they were our friends even though we didn't know them. Yeah, and so you've got like 40,000 something friends out there who are rooting you on while you're having to be on a liquid diet for 6 to 8 months.
Yes.
Yeah. I was looking back at one of your Halloween decoration posts, and I think there was a segment you put in there where you had to take out your teeth.
I had to take out.
There was something fake in your mouth for a
No,
time,
they were the rubber bands. Okay. I had to take out the bands and like stretch my jaw and things like that, and then like put them back, like weld my mouth back shut.
Okay.
I had to do it a certain amount of time every day.
Oh, so it was physical therapy for your jaw. Yeah. Crazy. So you endured something very difficult in that realm, and then you're pretty much an open book, so you've given me permission to kind of touch on this, but you've also been through something very long term with your husband, Mike.
Yes.
That you shared with everybody so openly. Talk about that.
Mike had a brain aneurysm July of 2024. I'm like, what year is it? And it became a 2-year journey. He was up and down, recovered. It was terrible. Lost 13 pints of blood during, it was a wild journey. I became his caregiver. And I disappeared from social media because I was caring for Mike, and he was in ICU at one point for over 2 months. I slept by his side on a cot every single night.
Oh my gosh.
And then he came home and I took care of him, and that is a whole other interview.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, he just recently passed away in August.
Yeah.
So I did end up, just kind of trying to distract myself again. And maybe my way of grieving is I just said, you know what, I'm going to get back to DIY Inspired that I just took a hiatus from, share my story again.
Yeah. I remember you put out there, you were kind of explaining to people, hey guys, this is why I've been a little quiet. And that kind of cracked the door open. Were you kind of unsure how you were going to feel about that? Was there a part of you that was like, gosh, this is such a big thing that we went through. Do I even want to open the door to this large community of people? So, okay, so you cracked the door open. How long did it take you to decide, do I want to go there or do I not want to go there?
Well, when Mike was still with us, we actually talked about sharing his journey, because what I did learn with the sharing my jaw injury experience was that so many people reached out to me. They would direct message me, and I felt like I was helping so many people.
Yeah.
And even if I just helped one or two, it was absolutely worth it for me to share my experience. And so I had conversations with Mike about maybe I should share this, and we kept going back and forth. It was very personal because, I mean, it was not pretty what we went through. So I kind of shied away. I mean, we went through a lot, and
grueling.
So it was.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
On the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And we're still getting to know each other.
Right.
And so just for someone who didn't even know beyond the surface of what you were going through, it was harrowing to learn about the day by day.
Yeah, the day by day was nuts.
And the whole in sickness and in health thing was so beautiful to witness how each of you were with each other through the process.
Thank you.
But how supportive you had to be to basically hold the family together. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, it was a lot of hemming and hawing. And then finally, like I said, I think it was just a way for me to start or continue to grieve was to share. And I'm glad I did, because I get the direct messages and just, sharing, being vulnerable. There's so many people that can relate to me.
But that's, being vulnerable about something like that is so much bigger than being vulnerable about another situation.
Sure.
I mean, it's losing your spouse and the girls losing their father and your whole family and Mike's family losing him is so big. So that comes with a lot of responsibility, and you've really gone about it in such a beautiful way. And it's very kind of you to say that you'd like to have another conversation about it sometime. And I think that would be great, because you've got such a perspective on grief, and you feel like you've told me that you feel like you have an unusual take on it that you want to be able to share with people, because a lot of times people might put grief in one basket. Sure. And you're finding that it can be so many more things. Yeah. And
I it might be cultural, I'm not sure, but I've always, my whole life, I've just been this bubbly personality. I recall conversations with people like, Dinah, do you ever not smile? Are you ever not smiling? And I'm like, I promise you, I'm not always smiling. But I think my positivity and bubbliness, I guess, has kind of, I joke, one of my nicknames is the bubbly optimist. And that's how I need to get through, all the things that all the hard things, because I've done a lot of hard things.
Well, do what you got to do, right? If that's your thing, if you ever attach any judgment to that, I'm glad you pushed through that, because if that's what works for you, that's what you do.
And hopefully I've inspired others.
So in this craft room lives the business under DIY Inspired, which you have named Josie and Jingles. Tell us what that is and how it was born.
Josie and Jingles are the names of our elves, part of the elf Christmas tradition that a lot of families do every year. And it came out of experience of trying to figure out ideas. It's very, very cute the first couple years that you do it, but then as the kids get older, you're like, I'm running out of ideas. And so I came up with this elf kit to help parents, very busy parents, think of some fun ideas every day. And so This is what the kit looks like. This was supposed to be this year's kit. I actually put it on hold because of what was happening in our family with Mike. But they will be sold next year for the holiday season, 2026.
And you've sold them in years past for several years, and they were just a huge hit,
Yes.
right? And it's grown into this massive, massive part of your business.
Yes.
Right?
So this is 5,000 units. The first year when I came up with this idea, I had the idea of selling 60. And so I made 60 kits, and that year I ended up selling 2,700.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I quickly had to pivot, and this is the mess that you see today.
All right. And so were you personally experiencing that overload with the elf, and you were like,
Yes.
this is the idea? So it was a light bulb moment?
Yes, absolutely. You got it right on the nose. It's
so for you to create this and make it happen, when do you have to start the process of acquiring all the merchandise and building?
January 2. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So I design everything early on, think of the ideas, brainstorm the ideas, starting January 2nd after the holidays, and then I print, execute, and then put it all together all year long.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So we talked earlier about people getting to know you, Dinah, versus just what you create on DIY Inspired. So is it kind of a slippery slope sometimes, maybe with boundaries or figuring out how to keep your private life private?
That's a really great question. And I think going back to what we talked about earlier with the changes in social media and having a real person behind the camera or whatever, I do feel like being as real as possible is important. I mean, what I don't show are the days that I'm just like absolutely a mess.
Yeah.
But I kind of...
And that's your prerogative.
Right.
Some people do, right?
Right.
You don't have to.
And I put it out in different ways. Like I have a few posts that I talk about grief and things like that. So I think people understand that I'm not going to be, one of those people that are like talking in my stories and crying about how bad a day. For me, and it came in with the name, the DIY Inspired. I want to inspire people. I want to lift people up.
Right.
And so I don't show the raw emotions where I'm just like very sad, which is a lot of the time. But for me, it's just, I want to be uplifting. And so that's what I put out.
Yeah. Well, and it's your choice to direct that. You are the one creating everything for all of us. And if that's your choice, if that's the gift that you want to be able to give people, I think it's a beautiful thing to share. It's it's terrific what you're doing. You're so talented in so many ways. And the emotional trip that you've been on, it's been a rough one.
Yeah.
But you're finding the bright spots or the less than obvious spots to share as they relate to grief, and that's I think maybe that's something that a lot of people aren't finding online. Mm-hmm. So I commend you for doing it. That's brave to do, right?
Thank you.
Okay. And then before I let you go, sometimes I like to ask a kindergarten question. It's like the very elementary basic question. What's the most fun thing that you've done with your business or that you get to do on the regular?
Honestly, for me, the creative part, creativity is something that is learned. Some people say, I'm not creative, but it's not something you're born with. It's something that you do through experience.
Okay.
And to me, that is a big reward, is coming up with the ideas and being at the mall and giving me a pile of stuff and then I have to turn it into Santa's sweet. You know what I mean? The creativity, the coming up with the new ideas, like that is what makes me passionate about doing what I do.
Okay. So a huge, huge accomplishment and a lot of hard work is fun for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
great.
Yeah.
I think it wears a lot of people out, but hey.
Yeah.
Good for you. Whatever floats your boat.
Right.
Thanks for coming on. It was so fun to get to talk with you more and learn about how everything has progressed for you. You've built such an amazing brand, and you're such a cool girl, and I'm glad to have you as my friend.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
We'll see ya.
Thank you.
Getting to talk with one of the OG influencers was really fun today. At a time when Dinah was building her DIY-inspired world and being approached by brands and television, I was on the other side of the country with dreams of that success, having gotten a small taste of what she was building on a larger scale. Hearing her reflect on those early days when influencing really was a new frontier and the creators were supporting one another as they built loyal followings, it was so interesting. I also have to say, I found it pretty comical when Dinah said she doesn't consider herself that creative. I mean, gosh, I respectfully have to disagree, but I'll give her a pass. Her guts in the garage with her tool chest, table saw, and blowtorches, plural, genuinely made me giggle. She's such a cool cat, such a doer, and someone I totally admire. Before we recorded, I told Dinah that she didn't need to feel any pressure to talk about her husband, Mike, but she chose to, and she did so with such incredible honesty and bravery. It really brought home that wedding vow promise in sickness and in health, and how in an instant, life as she knew it shifted gears so drastically. I can't even fathom what that must have been like. Her devotion to and support of her husband is extraordinary, and her strength left a deep impression on me. As she steps into this new chapter, sharing her takeaways from a long and grueling experience filled with love, fear, worry, pain, exhaustion, and grief, I can't wait to watch it unfold in the thoughtful, intentional way that she does everything. If you're here at the end, you're exactly who this show is for. Creating She Fascinates Me and watching the first season unfold has seriously been one of the most gratifying experiences of my life, both personally and professionally. What began as an idea turned into something real, and along the way, I learned just how powerful it can be to slow down and listen. Finding out that the show now sits in the top 20% of Spotify video podcasts blew me away, and it was proof that trusting an idea and following it through works. You might have noticed that not every story that you hear on my show is salacious, gossipy, or earth-shattering, and that's totally intentional. To be fascinated by someone doesn't require your jaw to drop. Sometimes fascination looks like admiration. Sometimes it's pride in knowing someone. And sometimes it's simply recognizing yourself in another woman's story. We're so conditioned to pay attention to the loudest narratives. And while those stories have their place, what I care about most is connection. Feeling connected to women who feel familiar, while being reminded of how beautifully different we all are. Because a thoughtful conversation, when you truly listen, is so satisfying, right? So do me a favor, please follow or subscribe wherever you watch or listen. Leave a rating if you're inclined, and come find me at She Fascinates Me. I'm so glad you're here.
Produced by Do You Validate?